With
Leonardo DiCaprio as Great Gatsby would definitely party there.
Yeah.
Jump off the dock, old boy.
Is that what he says?
I think that's exactly what he would say.
This is the Exploring the National Parks podcast with Dirt in My Shoes. My name is Ash, and I'm a former park ranger and the founder of Dirt in My Shoes. I think that the parks are best seen from the trail, and I'm here to make national park trip planning easy.
And I'm John. I carry the kids on the trails, I tell stories, and notice all the things that Ash doesn't care about much, like trees.
Join us as we show you around America's spectacular national parks.
We're sharing our favorite places, fun facts, adventures, and misadventures.
And we'll even throw in a little trip planning.
Let's start exploring. Today's episode I'm pretty excited about because one of my favorite things to do in national parks, especially during the summertime, is to find a nice, sweet watering hole where I can take a dip and cool off for the day.
We are water lovers.
Yeah.
I would say. Probably more than most people.
Oh yeah, we've always got our swimsuits available.
Listen, this is what I learned when I was working in the parks. Is you always keep your trunk full of fun stuff. It's a rule. So you always make sure that you have your funnest stuff. And that always for us includes swimsuits because you never know when you're going to come across.
Swimsuits and binoculars.
Yeah.
We always have those two things.
We do. And snacks.
Yes,
but
always.
Yeah, and a change of clothes. And, you've got to be prepared for it all. And so today we wanted to share a few of our favorite swimming holes. This is not an all-inclusive list.
Not nearly an exhaustive list for the national parks. This is just great swimming spots in the national parks.
This is a few of our favorites. Maybe we'll do another episode with a few more, or we'll just, add them in as necessary. But today we're talking about three of our favorites. And the first one is, I think, easily probably our top family favorite. I don't know. Can I say that?
I think you can, because it is probably one of the most picturesque lakes, but also it is like the only dock, I think, in all of the national parks that we've been to that has its only purpose is jumping.
Yeah.
The only purpose of this dock is to jump off of it, because it doesn't have it's not like a lake or it doesn't have tides.
There's
so
no
it goes
boats.
Up and down.
There's no boats using it.
Yeah. The only purpose of this dock is to be the world's greatest jumping dock.
So we're heading to Olympic National Park, and we are talking about Lake Crescent.
Yes.
And let's just say, Lake Crescent is one of those places where you get there and you're transported back to the 1920s.
Right.
It feels so nostalgic. It feels like you're going to summer camp, but a fancy summer camp.
Right. Leonardo DiCaprio as Great Gatsby would definitely party there.
Yeah.
Jump off the dock, old boy.
Is that what he says?
I think that's exactly what he would say.
So you have this beautiful lodge. They have ice cream, of course, but it's just right on the shores of the lake. And people come to Lake Crescent Lodge year after year after year after year. It's just an ongoing family tradition for a lot of people. But even if you're not staying at the lodge, go and jump off the dock right next to the lodge. It is so much fun.
Oh yeah. The beach is it's a nice little beach. You can set up your spot. Sometimes the water there is a little chilly.
It's cold. And I have to say, our tolerance for cold water is quite high. We will be found swimming in very cold water just because it's the fun thing to do. For the sake of fun. That's John's motto.
Yes. Do it for the sake of fun, because it's awesome. The dock is, it takes you out just far enough so that you can, jump without having to worry about anything underneath you. The water is super clear and blue. The mountains around you are just gorgeous and green. And the whole situation is just so picturesque. But also, I didn't even know if we were going to mention this, but besides the swimming dock right there, the jumping dock, there's also the Devil's Punch Bowl on the other side of the lake.
Yeah.
which is a really cool place to jump in.
You can cliff jump there. That's like legit cliff jumping.
Right.
So yeah, Lake Crescent has some good swimming. But if you've got little kids, go to the dock because the Devil's Punch Bowl is really deep.
Right.
And it's kind of slippery around. Like, it's not really a great place for kids, but it's a good place to go. Like, if you want to go paddleboarding or you want to jump off the cliffs, that's a really good option. There's another option on the west side of the lake that, like a picnic area that's really good. Lake Crescent has some really good places to swim. So
Right.
just Lake Crescent in general, but stop by the lodge and jump off the dock. It's not slimy.
Nope.
It's not gross.
Nope.
There's a really nice ladder for getting back up on the dock. Like, it literally is just there for jumping.
Oh,
so
yeah.
It's perfectly set up and it's absolutely beautiful.
Yes.
So Lake Crescent, probably our number one favorite place to swim when we're in a national park.
Yeah, baby. Oh, that was a good one. I love number 1. Lake Crescent's good. That takes us to number 2. Takes us to the exact opposite side of the country. All the way down to Florida.
Basically as far as you can get from Olympic.
It's true.
I didn't even think of that. You're literally diagonaling all the way down to Florida.
Out into the middle of the Gulf of Mexico. We're talking about the snorkeling beach at Dry Tortugas.
Dry Tortugas is a national park that I was not that excited to visit.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It was like, yeah, I mean, that looks cool, but we'll get there when we get there.
Right.
Type of park. And we got there and all of us were like, psh, what is this place? This is amazing.
Oh, yeah. It's not just like this inky dinky little fort that they've got on this tiny island out in the middle of nowhere. It's an incredibly massive, giant fort that
on a dinky island out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my gosh, the whole thing is huge. It's a marvel of the time period for sure.
And basically all you do at Dry Tortugas really is tour the fort and snorkel.
Yeah.
That's your day.
Yeah.
Or if you decide to camp on the island, you're snorkeling again the next day. That's what you do. And so because of the way the fort is set up, it's got these walls that go around it down into the ocean.
Mm-hmm.
And when the waves come up and over the walls, a lot of times you'll find creatures like kind of trapped in between the fort and its wall.
It's got like a moat, like a classic castle.
Yeah, so you'll see creatures in there, but then also if you want to just snorkel like right outside of the wall, kind of follow it around the fort, you'll see all sorts of creatures. And the water in Florida is so nice.
Oh, it's so warm.
It's warm.
Yeah. And
and it's turquoise.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Yeah.
That's what I was about to say. When you're on the top of the fort, kind of walking around and looking down, the water is gorgeous turquoise green blue.
It is.
It's incredible. It's clear and the water is warm. The surf wasn't too crazy for our little guys, and the beach was nice.
Of course, when you're snorkeling with kids, we even got them those masks. So we bought our own masks and we brought them on the plane because we snorkel in Hawaii too. So
right,
we just decided to get the kids their own masks, and they do have them when you get to Dry Tortugas, but not really kids stuff.
Right.
I wanted the ones where you can put it over their face and they can just breathe like normal without having the separate mouthpiece for little kids. But even still, our kids are kind of whiners. So I think John and I enjoyed this a lot more. If you got kids who like don't mind the mask on their face and stuff, then that would be better.
Right.
But yeah, we had a great time just sitting on the beach and enjoying the views, touring the fort, but then also getting in the water and snorkeling. It's just part of the experience. You've got to do it while you're there.
Yeah, absolutely. Super fun. I don't know, totally different from the cold waters of Lake Crescent, to bring you down here to the nice warm waters of the Caribbean.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
So that is another really fun swimming spot if you can get out there. And if you can do it with kids. I was just talking to our 6-year-old this morning. We were looking at some pictures and he was like, oh, I remember Dry Tortugas. That's the one with all the cannons, right?
Yeah.
And so he still remembers, having a great time there, even though he was the one that was whining most of the time about the water. But
we tried to get the masks that were idiot proof.
Yeah.
But their idiot proof does not mean what was he, 5-year-old proof?
I think he was nervous too, because it is not completely flat. You're still out in the waves.
Yeah.
Anyway, but it was just a really cool way to see a national park with our kids and to do something different.
Yeah.
So highly, highly recommend that one, which also brings us to our third favorite swim spot that we wanted to talk about today, which is a very unique way to experience this park. And that is Madonna Creek in Great Sand Dunes.
Yes.
Did you know you can swim? Well, I mean, it's more like wading, but it is a swimming spot in Great Sand Dunes National Park.
Yeah, it's so cool. It's so crazy. So the situation is it's a seasonal creek, and so it's not there all the time. And so as the snow melts, so Madonna Creek, Great Sand Dunes National Park is in Colorado. And so we're in really high elevation, but as the snow melts, as late spring and everything comes up, that's when this creek, it just appears basically like an oasis out of the desert.
It's incredible. And so this is usually, if you time it, usually in June is when this creek will be flowing down through the sand. And in fact, like if you go to the park when the creek is running, it's super busy. Yeah. So pack your patience because everybody wants to be there when the creek is running. But B, you actually have to hike through the creek to get to the sand dunes.
Right.
And to do any of the sand sledding, or if you want to hike to High Dune or anything like that, you've got to walk through the creek if it's running. And it's like a beach experience. I mean, people bring tubes.
Yeah.
And floaties, and the water's not that deep, but it's sandy and it's rushing pretty fast. And so if you can get on a tube, especially for kids, like adults, you might just bottom out your tube depending on how deep the water is. But for kids, where they're lighter, a lot of times they will just kind of slide down the sand in this creek, and it turns it into like a really fun swimming area.
Yeah, definitely bring your water toys, because you can find ways to have fun in this creek in so many different ways.
Well, it's almost like being at the beach.
Yeah.
Because you can build sand castles. I mean, you have an infinite number of sand.
Right.
At your disposal at Great Sand Dunes. So it's like being on a beach, a really sandy beach with some fun water.
Yeah, I think that we should bring our boogie boards next time.
Please.
But
that would be funny. The water's really not that deep.
No, it's not. But there's a new water sport that I've seen at the beach where people kind of like, it's almost like a boogie board, but it's a little bit, I think like it's a little tighter.
Like the skimboarding?
Yeah, skimboard. I bet you could do that at Madonna Creek, and that would be slick.
Yeah.
That would be so cool. Okay, that's my new goal.
Okay.
Next time we go to Great Sand Dunes.
Which we will be there this summer. But yeah, you should try it, skimboarding. That sounds fun. Also, definitely do the sand sledding or boarding.
Yes.
While you're there. Even if the creek isn't running, you got to do it. It's just one of those cool places.
Yeah,
it's just got to do it
this
once.
park is so unique. It's got so many weird high adventure activities.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or weird sporting activities that you wouldn't expect to be there. So it's got summer sledding and sandboarding. Basically, it's like you're doing that off season. And then you've got the beach right there in the middle of the Colorado Rockies.
Yeah. Plus jeeping, you can jeep up through there. Tons of people do that. And there's a waterfall you can hike to. And that park is so cool.
It is really cool.
I think a lot of people don't think that you can do anything besides just be in the sand there. That's why I love mentioning Madonna Creek if you want a really fun swimming spot, but you got to go at the right time of year. Again, it's typically in June when that is running high enough to actually like swim in it.
Right.
So, but you'll want to check the official park website, because they post updates on what the creek is doing, because it is such a big deal for people.
Yes.
So
if you were just to swim in 3 national parks, that would be 3 of the best unique experiences.
Yeah.
3 of the best swimming spots.
And it's summer, so get out there, go find your favorite swimming spot. It's probably going to be one of ours too, so maybe you'll see us there. But have a fun time with your family doing something totally unique.
Thanks for exploring the national parks with us.
please share, like, and subscribe. And if you need any help planning your own trip, click on over to dirtmyshoes.com.
See you next week. Same time, same place.
And don't forget to get some dirt in your shoes.